Hey everyone, just before we begin, this video is a re-edited upload of a reaction from our previous and now deleted channel, so please check that you subscribe to this new channel here, enjoy the review, and we look forward to seeing you in some new material coming very soon. Hi there and welcome back to Japan and to the year 2 set for the backer breakdown, where as you can see, again, I want to compliment everyone who's been helping with the payments on the Patreon or sending me stuff in the post. Thank you to everyone who's helped just kind of get everything looking a bit nicer by sorting out some posters and a little bit of lighting. You guys are really appreciate it. I really appreciate everything you've done. It's really helped hugely, so thank you very much for that. And today we're going to be listening to one of the channel favourites. Can't wait to get them added to our year 2 roster. So today it is WAGAKKI band we're listening to. WAGAKKI band, as we mentioned, I mentioned in the end of year awards for our first year, they're a band who I knew I was going to like from a long time ago, because they've got a formula that just fits to something that I always knew I liked, which was the mixture of contemporary music with traditional Japanese instruments. Just that sort of sharpness but beauty of tone that Japanese instruments has means that they work really well with contemporary music. And then when I heard WAGAKKI band, I loved the style, I loved the way they played it. I think they elevated it beyond what I had expected. The videos were always cool and interesting to look at, and I think that they've got one of the greatest singers that you could ever hear. She's there. So yes, this is a group that I really enjoy, and I can't wait to get back to more of them, and I will be doing that now. I'm almost running out of WAGAKKI band videos now, so I'm really glad every time I find a new one, but I found some links for some new WAGAKKI band videos that will be coming up in the next few weeks here. But anyway, join me on this one, we'll talk a bit more afterwards and see what you guys think as well, so remember to get in the comments on this afterwards. But let's see what this is. A bit of WAGAKKI band. That's the first thing you need to know. Is this going to be the first one I don't like? Because so far we tried to be constructive on this channel and always try and give a fair opinion, but so far there's not really been one that I've disliked. It's very hard to review this band objectively. Here we go. Let's find out. Wow. Again, I hate to say it, this is a very difficult band for me to review because they always screw up my time by being so damn good. That was just really, really wonderfully enjoyable. I loved how much power and energy her vocals had, as usual, but how it was allowed to resonate here. Now, they did that sort of thing which we don't hear them do so much, but occasionally, just very rarely, we hear this in their songs. But yeah, for all the times that they blast forwards and they have this amazing ability to have everything bustling and working at the same time, but also find its space. Occasionally they do these songs where everyone sort of chills off and lays back, and there's very spaced out notes, and like one instrument will come in then the other, and they more sort of play around one after the other, which is a very good way to do things like the ballads that they do. This was very interesting though, because strangely they did that, but then filled out some of the other space within the underlying sound of the strings, which was such a weird thing. It seems like the last thing you'd want to do when you've got a band that has so much sound, to back them off, but filled up the space with the other things. I don't think that what the strings did detracted in any way from what the band's actual sounds had there. I think the koto, the shamisen, the shakuhachi, let me do that again, koto, shamisen, shakuhachi, they all, the traditional Japanese instruments, they already cut through in their own necessary places, and the guitar as well with its little solo and everything. But what happened is that they were just as powerful, but they were used in restraint, which meant they had more impact. When they came in, each note from each of those instruments had more punch because it was more restrained. It wasn't constantly blasting. And then the strings were used more as, like, if you like, the glue, the sort of the fabric of the weave, the thing that kind of goes underneath everything. It doesn't so much grab your attention most of the time. It's just kind of there to make everything sound a little bit more thick, so you don't get too much space and silence between the notes. And so most of the time it's just long held notes underneath everything else, sort of subliminally giving a bit of atmosphere. But then towards the end they build it up. I mean, like I say, in that guitar solo in the bridge, the guitar solo was fantastic, really good. One of the few times I've really seen WAGAKKI band lean into just doing a full-on guitar solo. But you noticed it was there to grab your attention and hold your attention. But what really was happening, what really was having the effect, is that you're getting that nice guitar sound happening, but it was the swell of the strings underneath, like I say, building up, that was what was really adding the emotional context. So again, a clever arrangement move. They focus you on the impact and the personality and the qualities of the instruments that the actual band play, but then the string arrangements underneath. Sometimes, by the way, I should point out, bands like this, even if they write their own songs, sometimes string arrangements are done by a separate string arranger. You have a separate writer comes in to do the string arrangements, maybe someone who works with that particular string group. So that could be in that case, the band could have written it, or someone else could have written it, or they could have written it together. However, I do think there was definitely an intelligence in allowing the strings to be kind of a subliminal backing thing, but that really worked. Like I say, swelling up in the bridge and giving that fantastic last chorus. The last chorus, beautiful, wonderful crescendo, everything really big. And again, one of the things that really got me was the way the sounds were used. You know, with the band backing off, like I say, often if you back a band off and then add lots of sounds which are not them, it feels a little bit like a cheap cop-out. Like I said, this didn't feel like that because I still felt that all the instruments being played by the band, the koto, shamisen, shakuhachi, even the guitar, they all kind of had their, and the bass. I have to remember everything now, drums, yeah, there's a lot of things going on. They all had their impact in their own way, but much more sort of sparse and more spaced out in this particular song, which means that you've got a lot more of the room being filled by these other sounds. But one of the other things I wanted to mention wasn't just the strings, but there was occasional little bits of production where the producer went a bit funny, like there was that weird sort of croaky sound in the background, which is what happens when you take a sound and you really stretch it. So if you took like a sound like that, just for an example, I mean, it wouldn't have been something as short as a click, but that, and then you told the computer, okay, slow that down to like a 16th of its original speed, you get like a weird sort of sound happening. That was a really weird, creepy Japanese horror movie sort of moment that just happened there. Sorry, I was getting a bit grudge with my voice, but yes, anyway, that vocal representation was to show you what it sounds like when you slow down a sound too much, and that was the kind of sound that was layered underneath there. Then weird little bits where you got like a clock tick sound coming and things like this. The producer had room to add little things as well, just to accent things. There was a lot going on here, which was even more than the band would usually do, and it was all about filling in gaps carefully. This is a weird song in many ways. I can see this would even alienate people who already... There it goes. I would think this would even alienate people who are already fans of the band. But I personally just think that it just worked. It worked really well. It added a slightly different string to their bow. One of the things I really like about them is even though they have this ability to mix together their sound, traditional and contemporary, they still add other things like with Synchronize or whatever it was called, which had jazz in it, and some of the other ones that have gone more rocky, they add various other things on top of that mix as well. So I really enjoyed this. I thought it was great. Like I say, a different string to their bow. Really interested to know what you guys think though. Is it one that you like as well? Do you think it's another strong point? Do you think that it's a weaker one of theirs? What would your comments be? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Either way, your opinions are relevant and interesting. Really want to know what you think. So let us know. Get in those comments and tell us as always. And for now, from Japan, thank you so much for joining in. I'm going to have to put her back up. I think after the last comment, she fell down in shock. But for now, from Japan, ciao ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.